It really was. And, no one wants to, come out and say it while it's all happening, just how difficult it is when you're really scuffling. And the way they were losing games, and then, that last game in Baltimore, the one they really get out of hand, it doesn't feel good. Nobody likes to lose. I had Ryan Howard as my post-game guest yesterday after the win, and that's what I said. I said, Ryan, I think sometimes we forget that you guys hate to lose probably, as certainly as much, if not more than the fans. They're the ones that are going through it. And he was very honest and said, yeah, it's been tough, but all we can do is, kind of keep our heads up and keep coming out and trying to do the little things that help win games. And yesterday they were able to do that. A big 2-out hit by Howard, the two-run home run. And I think maybe the biggest turning point of the game when Chase Utley threw that ball away into left field and gave them second and third with 1 out. Luis Garcia was really able to kind of, bear down and strike out the next 2 guys and get out of that inning. So those were the things that weren't happening when they were losing, 6, 7, 8 in a row. And they happened yesterday. And when they do happen, more often than not, the results are good. So hopefully they can build off that and got a tough team, the Cardinals coming in, but hopefully they can keep their things going.
Sure do, and they'll have to do it without their ace. Cole Hamels got scratched tonight, Murph, and hopefully it's just a one-time shot. But we're going to see Philippe Almont up here, and I think his story is very interesting. Obviously, we know he was part of that Lee deal, and it hasn't worked out. But from what I understand, he was off the 40-man, and nobody was there to take him. And the same day, he goes and pitches 5 innings at a minor league game, and he has really kind of embraced and almost, I think, told them he would like to start, and it seems like it's working out for him.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The first part of that that you mentioned was when he got designated and removed from the 40-man roster. I mean, that's a little bit of an ego blow for anybody, certainly. But this is a guy that has really struggled, bounced back and forth, and hasn't really found his way within the organization. And then he gets told that, he's basically available for the rest of the major leagues to jump on if they want. Nobody claimed him. So he gets, clears waivers and gets sent to AAA. He reported that exact same day and went to work. He had 72 hours to report. He didn't wait. He went across the street at the Carpenter Complex and began his work as a minor leaguer, which I thought was telling. And I thought that was very, very mature of Philippe Almont, because certainly he could have, spent the next 24 hours kind of moping and trying to figure things out. But he didn't. So he did that, and then, as you said, he went to them. I was just working on his numbers now for the game tonight, and, he pitched in 4 games as a reliever to begin the season at the Lehigh Valley, but then went to them and said, give me a chance to start. And they did, and he's, done a real good job. I mean, he certainly has some things he needs to work on. He's not a finished product, but he's done a very good job in the short time that he's been able to do it. I think he's had 10 starts down there. And look, the way things are happening here in Philadelphia, he was next in line. And when Cole got scratched out of the game tonight, he was the next guy to be called up, so he's going to get a chance.
And you wonder,
it's a big chance for him.
You wonder, Murph, if he's still in the pen, is he getting this chance? Is the fact that he has now reinvented himself as a starter, he was off the 40-man, they had to put him back on just to make this start. Does this... Yeah. Is it the fact that he became a starter, was that what gave him this other opportunity? He might never got this shot if he's still pitching in the bullpen.
Yeah, he may not have. There's no way to know whether or not he would have been, certainly the Phils have needed to call up a couple of relievers along the way this season as well. Would he have been one of those guys? I don't know. But the reinvention of Philippe Almont into a starter and the success that he has certainly opened up this door. And it's going to be really interesting to see how he handles it. And, I talked to Jake Diekman yesterday, who just returned from the Lehigh Valley as well, and talked to him about his mindset. And he seemed to really kind of embrace the move down and now is excited to be back up with some things a little bit clearer in his head. It'll be interesting to see if Philippe Almont has the same thing. Yeah,
he'll pitch tonight against the Cardinals. Gregg Murphy will have the call as the Phillies take on the Cardinals on NBC 10. That's where that Phillies-Cardinals game is tonight. Now, Cole Hamels yesterday played a little joke on everybody. He cleared out his locker. Now, obviously, he was scratched, and then he clears out his locker. But at this stage of the game, do you think Hamels is just kind of a minor precaution here, or is there some concern that he might be out a little while?
It's really hard to tell. We haven't gotten a whole lot of information. I think it's a minor precaution, and you can look at it in a couple different ways. You certainly can't afford to let Cole Hamels, aggravate what may be a very minor issue right now, because the idea is that they would like to trade him if they can, if the right package comes along. So it would be much more difficult to trade him if he was injured. So my gut tells me that it's precautionary, that he's got a little tweak. It just didn't feel 100%, and they just want to be uber careful to not allow him to get hurt any further. So that's what I think. Now, certainly, it could turn out that it's a little bit more serious than we think, and we'll find that out down the road. But as the best I understand it right now, they expect him to miss this start and hopefully be back for his next.
All right, Jonathan Papelbon, a lot of reports about him now, Murph, and yesterday after the game, he didn't say anything in a bad thing. I mean, a lot of times he'll say things, he speaks his mind, but the frustration is obviously there. Nobody likes losing. We all come to the yard. We want to win. But there are a lot of reports today, heavy scouting presence yesterday for him. The Cubs, a team that is interested. Is it becoming a distraction for Papelbon, or is it very evident that he is going to get moved?
Well, I certainly don't think it's a distraction for Jonathan Papelbon. He's been through this before, and he's a guy, he's made it very clear. He wants to pitch for a contender. So I don't know that it's a distraction to hear that maybe that's a possibility, that maybe a team out there that is in contention is looking at him. If anything, from a human standpoint, he's probably a little bit excited about that possibility. The guy just goes out and does his job, and he hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities to do it of late, but when he's gotten those chances, we saw yesterday, he comes in and he gets the job done, and he just does that consistently, time in and time out. So I'm not sure anything could distract Jonathan Papelbon, to be quite honest with you. But I'm not concerned in the least that he'll be reading the press clippings and it's going to affect him. Is it imminent? I would say probably not, but I got to believe that they're going to do what they can to make a move at some point, which is going to be better for Jonathan Papelbon in the long run, and hopefully better for the Phillies, because that's the most important thing. Yeah,
that's the hope, obviously. If there have been a couple of bright spots, Papelbon's been one, Giles the other. When those two guys pitch, the Phillies seem to win if they can somehow get him to that spot.
Mm-hmm.
The offense, though, has really struggled along it during that 9-game losing streak there. But those two guys have been a bright spot. And then Franco, we talked about him in the past, has been a bright spot too. So of all the bright spots here, the one thing that everybody seems to be talking about is Nola. And is he a guy that people in Philly on the current team are even keeping an eye on?
Oh, absolutely. Certainly the current 25-man roster isn't, rushing to look up his box score. But, when you have conversations with these guys and you mention, hey, Aaron Nola is pitching really well down there in Reading, the last question is, hey, yeah, really, what's his deal? What's his record? What's he featuring with? And, they're interested, certainly, and especially, some of the young guys that are still – finding their way in the major leagues and aren't that far removed from the minor leagues. They're curious as to what's happening down there. So, Nola's, got the promotion to AAA, and he's going to probably be there for a little while and make some starts there, and hopefully has the same kind of success that he had down in Reading. And, if that's the case, I really believe we'll see Aaron Nola at some point this season, probably closer to, after the All-Star break, a little bit closer to the trade deadline. But I got to believe that Aaron Nola is on a fast track at this point, as long as he continues to make progress down there. Yeah,
I think a lot of fans would be happy to see him up there. Enjoying seeing Franco here, and some obviously get a look at the glimpse of the future sooner than later. Here, Gregg Murphy is with us. He'll have the play-by-play call tonight on NBC 10. Now, obviously, there's a little difference for you in preparation tonight. How much more goes into doing play-by-play than doing sideline reporting?
Well, honestly, for me, a lot more. Only because when you're doing it every day, like Tom and Scott, Scott Fransky and Tom McCarthy are doing every day, you kind of don't have to start from scratch every day to kind of build up your book and get the information that you need on all 50 players that could be a part of the ball game tonight. So for me, I've been actually doing a little bit of work getting ready for this, over the last week or so. So I'll be ready and I'll be prepared. I'm excited about it. Tom McCarthy's second son, Tommy, is graduating from high school tonight, so Tom is with him,
Nice.
and it gives me an opportunity to sit in his chair for one night, and I'll be with Ben Davis, and Leslie Goodell will be with us doing the field reporting tonight. So hopefully it goes off without a hitch. That's certainly the plan. But I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, and hopefully we'll see something good from Philippe. First Major League start tonight, and Gregg Murphy and the guys will have the call on NBC 10, Phillies and Cardinals. Citizens Bank Park, 7:05. All right, Murph, well, I know a lot more prep, so we'll let you run. We appreciate some time, bud.
Mike, always a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.